In our last video, we discussed Hyperliquid as one of the few clear high conviction setups while it was trading near the $31 level. At the same time, we mentioned that Bitcoin was more likely to stay range-bound, moving sideways with no strong directional momentum. Since then, Hyperliquid has significantly outperformed the overall market, even climbing close to the $40 mark about a week ago. On the other hand, as of recording this video, Bitcoin has played out almost exactly as expected. There hasn't been any decisive breakout, no solid confirmation of a completed bottom, and price continues to move within a volatile range without a clear trend forming. At the moment, most participants are still focused on one main question: has the market already bottomed or not? But from my perspective, the real opportunity is not in guessing the exact bottom. It's in tracking where liquidity is flowing before the next big narrative begins to develop. So in today's video, I'll walk you through where I think Bitcoin could be heading next. As I've mentioned multiple times on this channel, the objective isn't to debate who correctly predicts the exact top or bottom. The real goal is to position yourself during the most favorable risk-to-reward conditions and make decisions based on data rather than emotions. After that, we'll take a closer look at what's happening beneath the surface of the crypto market. Even though price action may appear slow or unexciting, and many retail traders are starting to lose interest, this phase is often when larger players begin to step in more aggressively. One key principle I've followed over time is simple: track the behavior of experienced capital. When major capital starts positioning itself while the majority remains distracted or inactive, that's usually when the best opportunities begin to take shape. From there, I'll move into what I believe could become one of the most important developing narratives in crypto right now. This particular area has the potential to attract the next wave of liquidity needed to fuel a stronger expansion phase in market. Once I outline how the next cycle might unfold, I'll also highlight some of the most compelling asymmetric opportunities currently available. Because in my view, the strategy isn't about blindly allocating capital across random assets. Certain setups offer far better upside potential if you know where to focus. If you can anticipate where attention, liquidity, and infrastructure are likely to shift next, you will put yourself in a much stronger position to benefit from those moves. Toward the end of the video, I'll also go over an important update related to crypto reporting, specifically around 1099 DA forms. Interestingly, this hasn't been widely covered across major platforms yet, but it could impact anyone who has traded or invested in crypto. Even a single transaction could potentially trigger reporting requirements, and if you're not familiar with how to handle it, it may create compliance issues. So it's definitely something worth being aware of. This will be a longer video than usual, so feel free to use the timestamps if you want to navigate between sections. And as always, I'll finish with some final thoughts at the end. Alright, there's a lot to cover, so let's start with the usual focus: Bitcoin. Right now, the broader market expectation is that Bitcoin could still be moving toward a potential bottom sometime in Q4 2026, possibly in the $45,000 to $50,000 range. This is also the view I shared in the previous video. Based on a response to that upload, it seems many of you agreed with that outlook. A large part of this expectation comes from the traditional halving cycle narrative, where Bitcoin tends to follow a repeating structure and often forms a bottom later in the year before transitioning into the next phase. This 4-year cycle idea is also shaping how many active traders are positioning themselves. A significant number of participants are still holding cash on the sidelines, waiting for another move lower, so they can enter what they believe will be the true bottom. However, while one side of the market remains cautious and expects further downside, there's also a growing group that believes the bottom may already be forming. In fact, some participants are becoming increasingly confident that the market has already found its low. The bullish side often points to figures like Michael Saylor, who played a key role in the previous cycle when Bitcoin reached new highs and has once again resumed accumulating. This is where things start to become more uncertain, because many people are unsure how to position themselves. On one side, you have those expecting a Q4 bottom, strongly relying on the 4-year cycle pattern. On the other side, you have those who believe the bottom is already in, and their confidence has increased after the recent bounce in Bitcoin over the past few weeks. In situations like this, what I prefer to do is step back, Consider both perspectives and focus strictly on the data. And based on what the current data suggests, it still seems too early to confidently say that the bottom is confirmed. Yes, the rebound from around $60,000 looked promising. Yes, Michael Saylor has resumed accumulating. And on top of that, we've seen some positive developments, including clearer regulatory signals suggesting that several major altcoins may be treated more like commodities rather than securities. All of these are constructive indicators and provide valid reasons for cautious optimism. However, despite these bullish elements, I'm still not fully convinced at this stage. There simply isn't enough confirmation yet to build strong conviction. The key level to watch right now, both as an investor and trader, is $80,000. Until Bitcoin can break above that level and maintain it, the overall structure doesn't look convincingly strong to me. Now, one of the biggest developments recently has been the geopolitical situation. Before my last video was published, I had already mentioned the possibility of tensions escalating with Iran. When it comes to geopolitical events, history shows that Bitcoin tends to react in a fairly consistent way. There's usually an initial sharp drop driven by fear, followed by a relatively quick recovery. We saw this pattern during the Russia-Ukraine war, where Bitcoin dropped significantly before bouncing back. A similar reaction happened during the Israel-Hamas war, and again when tensions escalated between Iran and Israel in 2024. Typically, these events cause a fast drop, followed by a quick rebound. What makes the current situation different is that it doesn't appear to be a short-term shock. The concern here is that this conflict could continue for a longer period than most people expect. From a political standpoint, figures like Donald Trump will prefer to see a quick resolution for multiple reasons, including economic pressure and upcoming elections. A prolonged conflict is generally not favorable from a leadership perspective. At the time of recording, several key outcomes are still uncertain, and those outcomes can directly influence market behavior, including crypto. One thing you'll always get from me on this channel is clarity, without unnecessary speculation. Try and predict every short-term move or pretending to know exactly where the bottom is can often be a waste of time, because in reality, no one knows for sure. What has worked consistently for me over the years is staying patient, waiting for clear momentum, and maintaining strong cash reserves. Understanding key levels and reacting when the market confirms direction is far more effective than guessing. If I had to assign rough probabilities right now, I'd break it down like this. Bullish scenario, around 20 to 25%. Bearish scenario, around 30 to 35%. Sideways, indecisive market, roughly 45 to 50%. Let's start with a bullish case. For a bullish scenario to play out, several key factors need to align. First, geopolitical tensions would need to ease. Second, oil prices would need to cool down, because historically, crypto struggles to perform strongly when oil remains elevated above $100. Additionally, the Federal Reserve would need to have room to adopt a more supportive stance, potentially signaling faster rate cuts than currently expected. Beyond that, the global economy would need to remain stable enough for risk assets to gain confidence. A bull market doesn't depend on a single factor. It requires multiple elements working together, especially improved liquidity conditions. As mentioned earlier, $80,000 is the critical level. If Bitcoin breaks above it and starts pushing toward $90,000 to $100,000, then the probability of a stronger uptrend increases significantly. If favorable conditions continue, such as strong stock market performance, renewed investor confidence, and potential economic stimulus, then a move toward $110,000 to $120,000 becomes more realistic. At that stage, we could start seeing increased activity across altcoins as well. Now, let's consider the bearish scenario, which I still believe has a slightly higher probability at the moment. The reason is simple. A bearish outcome doesn't require everything to go wrong, just a few key factors aligning negatively. If geopolitical tensions escalate further, if oil prices remain elevated, or if inflation begins rising again, it could limit the Federal Reserve's ability to support markets. In that case, we could see broader corrections in traditional markets, which would likely impact crypto as well. So, we've covered the bullish case and the bearish case. But there's a third scenario that many people are overlooking, and it might actually surprise the majority of participants. This is a scenario where the market initially appears strong. Maybe we see Bitcoin start pushing higher. Sentiment gets better. People are convinced that the bottom was in when it wasn't. Social media gets bullish again. Everyone starts turning back onto X. We see our notifications going off on all these little memecoin apps we've downloaded in the last year. Leverage starts building back up. Market starts to feel fun, easy again. New beginners who are trading for